Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Anti-Japanese War. Just became the Emperor of the Sea, did World War II break out? Lin Hai crossed the island of Guawa in 1928 and launched the Seas Overlord system, liberating the entire territory from the Windmill Kingdom and being elected as the Emperor of the Black Dragon Empire. With the support of the system, the Black Dragon Empire leapt to become the world's strongest, with the roar of wild horses, owls, and mosquito engines echoing throughout the world. In 1931, the island countries invaded Dacia. The Black Dragon Empire spoke out, "If you dare to invade the Great Xia, our Black Dragon Empire will be dealt a devastating blow." When seen on the battlefield, T.34 tanks, Type 88 anti-aircraft guns, M59 cannons, Battleship Iowa, and Black Dragon Special Forces holding Gatling. Little devil. I shouldn't have provoked Dacia. I can't bear the anger of the Emperor Lin Hai. Chiang Kai-shek. The Black Dragon Empire shares the same spirit and bloodline with me, and our advantage in the anti-Japanese war lies with me. Eagle Sauce. Quickly recognize the Black Dragon Empire as your big brother. A free alliance requires the guidance of the Black Dragon Empire. Mao Xiong. Brother, please help me. I'm about to Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 1, 1931, Lin Hai, 7 Seas Dominant System. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 1931, Mist Island. Rows of modern urban buildings rise from the lush jungle. Under the tall and dense coconut trees, white factories stand between the hills and plains, with the roar of machines echoing one after another. Outside the factory, a cement road resembling a spider web connects the port and the mine. On the road, brand new cars were produced from the factory and began to rush between the mines and factories. In addition, there are railways, airports, refineries, rubber plants, fruit processing plants, food processing plants, and so on distributed on the island. A pregnant woman dressed in bright and beautiful clothes pushed a stroller and walked comfortably in the park with rockeries, fountains, and flowers everywhere, with a happy smile on her face. Not far from the port, huge cargo ships carrying the specialties of Mist Island set sail. Beside the newly built port, there are more than 20,000-ton battleships docked. Hidden deep in the cliffs, huge artillery launch bases filled the entire cliff like hives. Soldiers wearing green camouflage and holding AK-47s are patrolling in rows along various important roads on the island. Military bases and colleges have sprung up on beaches, mountains, and plains. Countless spirited and bright-eyed soldiers are undergoing the most comprehensive modern military training. At the arsenal, workers are passionately producing AK-47s, 88mm anti-aircraft guns, and Katyusha rockets. In the college, professors hired from abroad are studying nuclear physics. In the factory and at the port, there is a bustle of people. Everyone showed happy and confident smiles on their faces. Everyone has a longing for the future in their eyes. But who would have thought that a few years ago, this place was just a slash-and-burn colony? Wudao is bordered by the Indian Ocean to the south and the Wuhai Sea to the north. The entire island covers an area of over 130,000 square kilometers, with a length of approximately 1,000 kilometers from east to west and a widest point of 260 kilometers from north to south. The terrain is narrow and elongated. The terrain is mainly mountainous and hilly. Multiple basins. The northern coast is an alluvial plain with many deep seaports. The south bank is steep with hills. There are many rivers, and the north bank has a larger river that flows into the sea. The soil on the island is fertile and the natural conditions are good. The unique natural conditions make the island densely populated with tropical plants, and the vegetation remains evergreen throughout the year. It is rich in coffee, tea, accounting for 20% of the world's supply, cocoa, coconut, 25% of the world's supply, sugar, pepper, tobacco, rubber, 35% of the world's supply, quinine, the majority of the world's supply, oil, a large part of the world's supply, iron, and more. Natural resources are extremely abundant. Due to the war, Wudao became a gathering place for the Xia ethnic group to move south. With the intelligence of the Xia tribe, they gradually established themselves on the Mist Island. Only a small population occupies 90% of the wealth and leadership of Mist Island. But hundreds of years ago, due to the arrival of the Windmill Kingdom, under the threat of strong ships and cannons, Fog Island and the surrounding 4 large islands of Suman Island, Kalaman Island, Longguan Island, and Sulawesi Island easily became colonies of the Windmill Kingdom. After hundreds of years of resistance, Misty Island remains under the rule of Windmill Kingdom. The colonizers burned, killed, and plundered here, not treating the indigenous people as human beings. They occupy and humiliate the women here, indiscriminately slaughter the men here, and plunder a large amount of mineral resources and wealth. It can be said that a few years ago, the people here still lived a life of hardship. Until the arrival of one person, it completely transformed Misty Island. From colonization to complete autonomy. That person is Lin Hai. Lin Hai, due to an accident, crossed to Wudao in September 1928. He became the eldest son of the Lin family of the Xia ethnic group at that time. As a foreign ethnic group, the Xia ethnic group has never had an advantage in terms of population on Wudao. According to normal development, the Xia tribe will inevitably crawl under the rule of other races. But how did the Xia people ever submit to others? After hundreds of years of resistance, the Xia people on the island united and formed a military alliance led by the top 10 families. Seized control of Mist Island in one fell swoop. It is precisely because of the existence of the top 10 families that the Windmill Kingdom dare not act recklessly. Partial autonomy of Mist Island has been achieved. With the arrival of Lin Hai, the 7 Seas Overlord system was activated, and at the beginning of the system, 3,000 special warriors holding Paposha submachine guns were gifted as gifts. With this powerful military force, Lin Hai repelled the colonial army of Windmill in just half a month. Fully liberate Wudao. The 7 Seas Overlord system is a farming system, and to obtain rewards, one must complete various strategic tasks issued by the system. As long as the task is completed, the system will give rewards based on the completion of the task. In order to develop rapidly and establish a firm foothold. Afterwards, it took Lin Hai 2 years to establish a preliminary and complete industrial system on Wudao. Including military factories, refineries, steel mills, cotton factories, food factories, canning factories, rubber factories, tire factories, pharmaceutical factories, and so on. P.S. New book upload, first day data is very important, kneel down and beg. Flowers, review tickets, monthly tickets. If there are readers who like this book, please support us a lot. Thank you. Chapter 2. Miracle of Mist Island, Seeking Flowers, Seeking Evaluation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. And established a modern military system consisting of thousands of schools, dozens of military academies, hundreds of military bases, and 4 major military regions in the southeast, northwest, and northwest. In addition, German war experts were hired at high salaries, and specialized German armored corps, new air forces, and new infantry field units were established. With the establishment of a new factory, the sound of the system came to mind. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing Industrialization 1.0 and having a preliminary industrial foundation. Activate the achievements of Industrialization 1.0 and earn 100,000 achievement points. The current host can use achievement points to exchange. T.34 production line can produce T.34 10 units per day. Lin Hai glanced at the blue light redemption interface provided by the system and saw that it showed that one T-34 production line needed to use 10,000 achievement points for redemption. Lin Hai immediately chose to exchange. Exchange for 10 T.34 production lines. Ding use 100000 achievement points to exchange for 10 T.34 production lines. Are you sure? Confirm, not exchange. Lin Hai clicked the Confirm button. Ding exchange successful. Please send someone to the port to receive it. Lin Hai immediately sent someone to receive it. With these 10 T.34 production lines, you can have 100 T.34 tanks per day. The T.34 is known as the legendary tank. The tank weighs 32 tons, has an engine power of 500 horsepower, a maximum road speed of 75 km per hour, and a maximum travel distance of 400 km. It is equipped with a 76mm tank gun and is a type of tank with outstanding firepower, protection, and mobility. At this moment, that is an invincible existence. Shortly thereafter, the front troops called. Speaker, we have received the production line and are currently transporting it to the designated production location. Great, once it arrives, it will be fully assembled and production will begin at full capacity. Yes. A few days later. The T.34 production line is fully operational. After 10 days. Lin Hai already has a 3,000-person tank brigade with 1,000 T.34 tanks in his hands. And after being trained by professional German experts, it can be said that they are well trained. In addition, due to the liberation of the entire mirror on Mist Island, the 3,000 Black Dragon Special Forces troops that were consumed were effectively replenished, and the number of infantry reached the full complement of 10,000. Lin Hai organized it into the Black Dragon Special Forces Division, which was divided into 3 Special Operations Brigades and 1,000-person personal guard team. The Special Operations Brigade is composed of 3,000 personnel, with a limit of 1,000 personal guards. Lin Hai's requirement for this Black Dragon Special Forces soldier is to carry a weight of 100 pounds per person and cross 80 kilometers in 24 hours. In order to cultivate this army, Lin Hai provided the best resources and cutting-edge technology. In addition, Lin Hai has formed a 50,000-strong infantry corps and 4 20,000-strong naval units. Under its jurisdiction are 6 infantry divisions, each with a total of 8,000 personnel. The remaining 2,000 people form 4 artillery brigades, using Type 88 anti-aircraft guns. Each artillery brigade has a total of 100 Type 88 anti-aircraft guns operated by 5 people. The naval force is divided into 5,000 personnel. It consists of 12 cruisers, each consisting of 3 cruisers, 15 landing ships, and 100 submarines, with a total of 5,000 personnel. Because the eyes do not have enough achievement points to exchange for the production drawings of battleships, these ships are all purchased from the Germanic country in foreign exchange for coffee, tea, cocoa, cigarettes, and other exports in recent years and have undergone a series of transformations. Because from the beginning, the system provided the AK-47 arsenal, and currently, the number of AK-47s produced by the entire island's arsenal is as high as 10,000 per day. At present, not only do all regular troops hold AK-47s, but even the island's reserve soldiers, militia, and others have one AK in hand. It is precisely because of the rapid establishment of the Wudao army and its strong firepower that the great powers dare not use force against Wudao. However, in recent times, the Windmill Kingdom has been continuously increasing its troops on the surrounding 4 islands. Intended to launch a counterattack on Fog Island. It can be said that the situation is very critical. In the past 2 years, while establishing a complete military system and heavy industry foundation, Lin Hai has also comprehensively carried out infrastructure construction on Wudao. To become rich, the concept of building roads first has been fully applied by Lin Hai to the comprehensive development of Wudao. The entire area of Wudao is crisscrossed by roads and houses are all brand new. All the people are fully engaged in production. In just 2 years, the Great Mist Island Miracle was created. As a result, other neighboring islands and countries are eagerly anticipating it. Even many people, in order to join and become residents of Wudao, do not hesitate to cross the ocean and swim here. In just 2 years, the population of Wudao has increased from several 100,000 to over 2 million. Make the development and construction of Wudao a leap forward. In order to enable the rapid development of Wudao and expand its territory, Lin Hai implemented a contribution point system on Wudao. To obtain resources, status, and power, one must contribute to Mist Island. If engaged in production, the produced goods will not only receive a certain reward, but also be converted into contribution points. If leading an army in battle, killing enemies and making achievements will also be converted into contribution points. Once the contribution point reaches a certain value, promotion can be obtained through calculation and evaluation. Even if one's ability is insufficient to handle a high position, they will still receive financial compensation. For this reason, Lin Hai has established a large number of hospitals, nursing homes, leisure and entertainment venues on Wudao. In order to attract outstanding talents, Lin Hai implements a compulsory education system throughout the island and has also established several universities, hiring internationally renowned professors and experts to teach. It is precisely because of these measures, systems, and talent absorption that the economy of Wudao has undergone tremendous development and improvement in the past 2 years. It has established a reputation internationally and attracted a large number of renowned overseas scholars to teach. After 2 years of development, the time has come to January 1931. An effective system. The parliamentary system has been established on the island of Fog. As the speaker, Lin Hai has absolute say. At this moment, Lin Hai sat in the speaker's seat. As the speaker, Lin Hai is well aware that in a few months, that ambitious little devilish country will extend its claws to the world. Before that, Mist Island must have the ability to defend itself. P.S. The new book is being released, and data is very important. Find 1 flower, 1 evaluation ticket, and 1 monthly ticket. Add 1,000 flowers and 1 more chapter, evaluation votes increased by 50, with an additional chapter added, add 10 more monthly tickets and 1 more chapter. Reward 5 times, with 1 additional chapter added. Chapter 3. Restoration of the 4 Islands and Comprehensive Development. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Leader, the troops have assembled. Just waiting for your command, the army will cross the 4 seas, completely drive away the colonizers of Windmill Country, and achieve the restoration of the 4 islands. At the speakers' meeting, a general named Long Bo gave an excited report. He was a general promoted by Lin Hai and is now the commander-in-chief of Lin Hai's 3 armies. Lin Hai looked at the sand table in front of him, which displayed the deployment of all the troops on Wudao at this moment. For this moment, and also for the near future to meet the challenges from the little devils. We must fully recover the 4 islands and comprehensively develop and strengthen military forces. In this way, we can protect ourselves under the smoke of war and restore the glory of the Xia tribe. I, in my capacity as the speaker, ordered the army to immediately deploy, fully repel the colonizers of Windmill Country, and fully restore the 4 islands. Yes, I will obey the orders of the President of the General Assembly. All troops, go ahead. When the massive figure of the battleship appeared in the eyes of these colonizers, the faces of these remnants of the old era showed an extremely frightened expression. In fact, the rapid development of Wudao in the past 2 years has already deeply rooted in people's hearts. The colonizers of the Windmill Kingdom have been blocking information and even implementing sea bans in order to suppress the resistance of the island residents. However, it still cannot stop the residents of the 4 islands from yearning for life on the Misty Island. If you must choose a ruler, they would rather become a dog on Mist Island and choose the Forest Sea as their leader. The army marched forward, and the flames of war ignited instantly. Under the crushing pressure of new weapons and the massive firepower of battleships, the artillery base built by Windmill in Hong Kong was instantly destroyed, and the colonizers of Windmill were quickly defeated. Towns were regained one after another, and residents began to take to the streets independently, welcoming the liberators from Misty Island. Not only that, but also because the colonizers on the island had already deployed heavy troops along the route to prevent pressure from the Foggy Island. When the coastline of the four islands is breached, the infantry of the four major fleets immediately boarded landing boats and began landing. Driving all the way, the momentum is like breaking bamboo. 12 hours later. Command Center Headquarters. Report, the defenders of Suman Island surrendered, and the Western Army is advancing at full length. Report, the garrison of Kalaman Island surrendered, and the Northern Army has begun landing. The defenders of Longmu Island surrendered, and the Southern Army has completely taken control of Longmu Island. Report, the Eastern Legion has arrived on Sulawesi Island and is engaged in a firefight with the stubborn rebels on the island. It is expected to take over the entire Sulawesi territory within 6 hours. Very good. Watching the delightful battle reports come one by one, Lin Hai is very excited. However, there was still a hint of calmness in the excited expression. He pointed to the sand table and said, "Next, notify the reserve forces to prepare. After landing on the four islands, quickly control the military centers of each island and gradually take control of important facilities such as power plants, water stations, government, schools, etc., to prevent malicious damage from the enemy. And quickly take over the local defense. Implement a curfew and arrest all rioters. If there are stubborn resistors, they will be killed without mercy." Yes. After receiving orders, the commander of the reserve army and the minister of the interior began to arrange for subsequent occupation matters. The logistics unit should pay attention, and all resources, drawings, and technical personnel should quickly deploy to establish an arsenal, power plant, and new T.34 production line on the four islands. Ensure that there are enough fresh troops for the upcoming battles. Yes. The new T.34 production line and AK-47 production line components have been loaded onto the ship and can depart at any time. Very good. According to the plan, establish a heavy industrial production base on Suman Island. In the future, move some of the production lines on Wudao Island to Suman Island as soon as possible and put them into production quickly. Yes, everything is progressing according to schedule. Well, that's great. Lin Hai is very satisfied with the mobility of the officers he has selected. Since ancient times, troops have been precious and swift. The reason why Lin Hai is so anxious is because he knows. Once the Windmill Kingdom, Farmar Kingdom, and Dabuli Peak learned that revolution had occurred in their overseas colonies, it will definitely react quickly. Next, a more brutal battle awaits him. He must take advantage of this brief time to establish a simple military system. Ensure that the territory taken by oneself has sufficient defensive strength. Only in this way can we establish a foothold in the Pacific. 6 hours later. Report, the entire territory of Suman Island has been liberated. Report, the entire island of Kalaman has been liberated. Longguang Island has been fully restored. Report, the entire island of Sulawesi has been liberated. When they heard this news, the speakers of the combat conference room applauded excitedly. Within just 48 hours, all four islands were recaptured. Such achievements are already in the annals of history. Congratulations to the host for completing the restoration of the four islands and earning achievement points of 4 million points. The current host has successfully unlocked Mustang production line, 1 Nissan Mustang fighter jet. The host can use achievement points for redemption. Lin Hai took a look. I only saw a Mustang production line, which exactly requires 100,000 achievement points. That is to say, the 4 million points I have earned myself can be exchanged for 40 Mustang production lines. However, even with such abilities, Lin Hai knows that with the current situation in the four islands, there is simply not enough industrial infrastructure to support the full production of so many Mustang production lines. Lin Hai opened the system production line diagram. Click on the factory section. Found. Giant steel plant, giant precision instrument factory, giant refinery. The achievement points required to exchange for a giant steel plant are 500,000 points. A daily production of 100,000 tons of steel. One Nissan industrial master machine from a giant precision instrument factory requires 500,000 achievement points to be exchanged. And the giant refinery requires 1 million achievement points to be exchanged. The remaining 2 million points were exchanged by Lin Hai for 10 Mustang production lines. 50 T.34 production lines, with 500,000 remaining achievement points. Fully arrange all Mustang production lines and T.34 production lines on Suman Island. After dealing with all of this, suddenly the sound of the system rang out. Ding task trigger. Within 1 year, the Pathfinder can establish a country and proclaim himself emperor, earning a system reward of achievement points and points. 1 million points. 1 Mustang flying squadron with 100 Mustang fighter jets. P.S. The new book is being released, and data is very important. Find 1 flower, 1 evaluation ticket, and 1 monthly ticket. Add 1,000 flowers and 1 more chapter, evaluation votes increased by 50, with an additional chapter added, add 10 more monthly tickets and 1 more chapter. Reward 5 times, with 1 additional chapter added. Chapter 4. Emperors of Taiping and the Establishment of the Black Dragon Empire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Arrange properly. The system unexpectedly released tasks at this time. Lin Hai was pondering on the next strategy, but was interrupted by legislators sent by major families. Your Excellency the Speaker. What's up? I saw a legislator take out a black and red dragon robe. This is. Your Excellency, under your wise leadership, the whole country has once again unified and driven away the aggressors. Such merits have long been remembered. The entire army unanimously agrees to support you as His Majesty the Emperor. Well, that's not good. After all, it's already a time when democracy is dominating the world. Your Majesty, please do not refuse, as your achievements have already surpassed any person in history. Moreover, only under your wise leadership can you form a bond now. Lin Hai also knows that the current situation is critical and no longer evades it. Moreover, to complete the tasks assigned by the system to oneself, it can only be so. Okay, I agree. However, he did not implement feudalism, but adopt a binary constitutional monarchy. Lin Hai still serves as the chief cabinet secretary. The army of 85,000 people in the Black Dragon Empire was all established by Lin Hai alone, naturally loyal to him. The residents of Wudao and other 5 islands are aware that under the control of the forest, their living standards have skyrocketed, and they will not object. On April 1, 1931, Lin Hai declared himself emperor. The country was designated as the Black Dragon Empire. Jiandu Yada, renamed as the imperial capital. Year name. Taichu. The national flag is a black-red border banner embroidered with a 5-clawed black dragon, named the Black Dragon Flag. On the day of Ascension, Lin Hai wore a black dragon robe and carried 6 officials to perform the ritual of offering sacrifices to the heavens. Rites and music resound together, and 10,000 cannons sound together. After the etiquette, review the 3 armies. Meet with ambassadors of various countries and submit letters of peace. Implement centralization and establish 6 departments. The 3 armies were renamed as the Imperial Air Force, Imperial Navy, and Imperial Army. 1,000 guards were renamed as Black Dragon Guard. Military industry enterprises, mineral resources, hospitals, etc. in various regions are all nationalized. Establish a state-owned bank and issue a new currency. Black Dragon Coin. Use a ratio of 1 to 10 for old currency exchange. After a series of measures. After the war, order was finally barely established. Various regions are rapidly entering post-war reconstruction. However, upon learning that the colonies of the Windmill Kingdom had been occupied, the major powers led by the Great Britain expressed dissatisfaction. Soon, the 8 major powers including Dabuli Peak, FA Country, and Australia quickly issued a note to the Black Dragon Empire, requesting the Black Dragon Empire to immediately dissolve its cabinet and return its territory to Windmill Kingdom. At the same time, it will be handed over to the joint governance of Dabuli Peak, FA Country, and Island Country. At the same time, the spies arranged by Lin Hai overseas also sent back messages. Dabuli Peak, along with France and the Windmill Kingdom, formed a tripartite alliance and is secretly gathering 300,000 troops in Siam, Laos, and Myanmar. Prepare to depart from the Malay Peninsula, cross the Strait of Malacca, and launch a total attack on Suman Island, intended to extinguish the emerging Black Dragon Empire. The Great Wall Council. The emerging Black Dragon Empire has infringed upon the rights and interests of our Great Britain. If the Black Dragon Empire is allowed to succeed, it will inevitably drive the independence of our Great Britain's overseas colonies. That's right, we absolutely cannot allow this kind of culture. We must defeat the Black Dragon Empire. The world doesn't need another powerful empire. Farmland. Charles de Gaulle said, in order to safeguard the interests of the country, we had to send troops to defeat the Black Dragon Empire thousands of miles away. Windmill Country. As an old empire, we do not allow our colonies to be plundered by an emerging country. That would mean our failure. At the same time, representatives from Eagle Sauce, Island Country, and Mao Xiong all sent notes to the envoys of the Black Dragon Empire, expressing concern for the Black Dragon Empire. Eagle Sauce specifically expressed serious concern about the human rights situation of the Black Dragon Empire, requesting Lin Hai to abdicate. Get these messages. Lin Hai did not show any anxiety. In fact, from the establishment of the Black Dragon Empire, Lin Hai anticipated this result. At this moment, the system's prompt sounds. Ding. Black Dragon Empire created, mission completed, rewards host with 1 million achievement points in a flying formation composed of 100 Mustang fighter jets. Upon hearing the system reward, Lin Hai was overjoyed. Nowadays, the Black Dragon Empire has tank armored divisions, infantry divisions, and naval fleets. The only thing lacking is the Air Force. Now with the Mustang Flying Squadron, you don't have to wait for Mustang fighter jets to go offline to have a complete small air force. Dealing with 300,000 enemy troops from afar is not worth mentioning at all. Moreover, it will take at least a few months for Dabuli Peak and Farmar to gather a 300,000-strong army. As long as the production line assembly is completed and officially put into operation, the size of the Mustang fighter jet flight fleet will still be expanded. Someone. Yes. Go to the designated location to receive the Mustang fighter jet flying formation. Mustang fighter jet formation. Your Majesty, this is the latest fighter jet developed by Eagle Sauce. How could? You don't need to worry about this, just go to the designated location to receive it. Lin Hai only instructed them to receive according to the location provided by the system. P.S. The new book is being released, and data is very important. Find 1 flower, 1 evaluation ticket, and 1 monthly ticket. Add 1,000 flowers and 1 more chapter, evaluation votes increased by 50, with an additional chapter added, add 10 more monthly tickets and 1 more chapter. Reward 5 times, with 1 additional chapter added. Chapter 5. Comprehensive crushing and great defeat of the Allied forces. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As for the Eagle Sauce, the Mustang fighter jet has not yet been put into production, and its official maiden flight will not be until 1940. How could it be possible to hand over the Mustang formation to itself now? A few hours later, the Minister of Internal Affairs received a formation of 100 Mustang fighter jets and 500 pilots at the designated location. After completing the reception work, the Minister of Internal Affairs found a location on Suman Island according to Lin Hai's request and immediately built a temporary military airport. At the same time, the 10 production lines that were prepared earlier have also begun to fully invest in assembly. At the same time, Lin Hai also exchanged 10 Mustang production lines, totaling 20 production lines. Production began in full swing. According to current productivity, one Mustang is taken off each production line every day. That means a maximum of 20 Mustang fighter jets can be produced per day. At the same time, among the personnel dispatched by the system, Lin Hai established a specialized flight academy. I will skip mentioning this matter. With a flying formation, the probability of victory this time has reached over 50%. At the same time, Lin Hai began to expand. Expand the original 4 legions from 50,000 to 300,000. The Eastern Army, Northern Army, and Southern Army each have a force of 50,000 soldiers. The Western Army Corps is composed of 150,000 troops. Among them, the Western Army has 12 composite divisions, each consisting of 5,000 people, and a flying combat squadron consisting of 100 Mustang fighter jets. Each synthetic division is composed of 4,000 infantry brigades, 1 synthetic armored brigade consisting of 1,000 T-34 tanks, and 1 artillery brigade consisting of 100 Type 88 guns. Other branches of the military, such as medical, engineering, and communication, have a total of about 3,000 personnel. After 6 months of mobilization and training, Lin Hai mobilized the Western Army and mobilized 25,000 soldiers from both the Southern Army and the Eastern Army, totaling 200,000 troops to fight. As of the eve of the war, the flying fleet of Lin Hai had reached 3,000. Both sides set up their positions in the Strait of Malacca and engaged in a naval battle. On the side of the coalition forces, Army 3,000,000 by sea, land, and air. Warships 10 strategic destroyers. Fighter 3,000 aircraft. The outcome of the battle. The Black Dragon Empire, a complete victory. When the Black Dragon Empire's Mustang fighter jets flew into the sky, the situation of war was already predetermined. The opposing fighter faced the challenge of the Mustang fighter in terms of combat effectiveness, endurance, and performance, all of which were in a complete defeat. With the formidable combat power of the Royal Legion of the Black Dragon Empire and the blessing of the King of the AK-47 battlefield, the coalition forces showed a trend of successive defeats. As the Black Dragon Empire army landed on the Malay Peninsula and was about to pursue the entire coalition army, Lin Hai ordered a retreat. Because on September 18, 1931, the Little Devils began to invade. If Lin Hai were to engage in a deadly battle with the Allied forces, only his own strength would be consumed. At that time, whether the Little Devils were advancing westward or southward, they would be unstoppable. Lin Hai must gather all his strength to deal with this despicable guy. Your Majesty, my advantage lies in me. Why is the withdrawal order issued? The military commander, Long Bo, who served as the commander-in-chief of this operation, was very puzzled. Faced with the questioning of his trusted general, Lin Hai did not feel any displeasure. Pointing to the map, he said, "The international situation is uncertain, and the Germanic country has begun to expand. In the coming period, our main enemy will come from the north." North. Looking at the map, Longbo pointed his finger to the island national road and said, "Does your Majesty mean this country?" Yes, the world economy has now fallen into a quagmire. With the island nation's urine, it will no longer be satisfied with small territories. It will move towards expansion. As your Majesty has said, the island country is bound to advance towards Xia in the future. Why do you say that? Lin Hai is very satisfied with the abilities of this general of the 3 armies. The clearer you see, the easier it is for yourself. Nowadays, the Xia kingdom is weak, like a sleeping lion. The island nation is like a fierce venomous snake. If we can take advantage of the lion's weakness to devour it, it will lay the foundation for thousands of years of prosperity for the island nation. Not bad. The island nation is a typical island-type personality, with a crazy personality and a love for gambling. Taking advantage of Xia's weakness, if 1 or 2 bites of meat cannot be taken, in the future when Xia rises again, it will have to put away its fangs and wait for the opportunity. The island nation can't afford to wait for thousands of years. Understood, Your Majesty. I am foolish and unable to appreciate Your Majesty's foresight and foresight. Please punish me, Your Majesty. No problem, let's handle the peace talks with the coalition forces. In the coming period, we need time to develop the Black Dragon Empire as soon as possible. Yes, I will strictly comply with Your Majesty's orders. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluations, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 6. M61 20mm Fire God Mechanism Cannon. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This battle took place on the Malay Peninsula. It is known as the Battle of Malay in history. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the first battle of founding, earning 3 million achievement points and unlocking the Gatling machine gun blueprint. I didn't expect to be able to unlock the Gatling blueprint. Lin Hai knew in his previous life that the Gatling machine gun had infinite power and underwent 3 major evolutions. The blueprint in hand was standardized and named M61 by the Eagle Sauce Air Force and Army during the development of the T.171 20mm machine gun in 1956. The M61 20mm Vulcan mechanism gun is a 6-dot barrel, externally powered automatic weapon with a firing rate of up to 7,200 rounds per minute. The total length of the gun is 1,829 mm, and the total weight of the gun is 114.8 kilograms. Launch 20 mm electric primer ammunition, such as M53A1 armor-piercing incendiary rounds, M56A1 high-explosive incendiary rounds, and MSSA1 regular rounds, with an initial velocity of 1,030 meters per second. According to the compatibility between weapons and aircraft, the Vulcan cannon can be powered by an electric motor, hydraulic press, or turbine, which means that the barrel can be rotated and voltage applied to the ignition circuit. When the trigger is pulled to fire, the ammunition chain is pulled into the feeding mechanism, and the bullet that moves to the front of the barrel detaches from the chain, moving forward into the chamber. The 6 barrels are sequentially locked by the gun mechanism, the bullet is fired out, the mechanism is unlocked, the empty shell is extracted and thrown out of the gun, the next bullet is loaded into place, and the mechanism is pushed into the chamber. This cycle repeats at high speed. When the trigger is released, the power is disconnected and the rotating body is braked and stops rotating. The gun barrel of the Fire God mechanism rotates counterclockwise to visually indicate the position of the barrel in the form of a clock pointer. It is loaded at 5 o'clock, fired at 12 o'clock, and the shell is thrown at 6:30 o'clock. The 6 rotating barrels greatly reduce the problems of barrel erosion and overheating, which helps to prolong the lifespan of the gun barrel, with a total lifespan of 100,000 rounds and a barrel lifespan of 15,000 rounds. The lifespan of the M61 Fire God mechanism gun is the same as that of the aircraft performing the mission, and there is no need for comprehensive maintenance before firing 45,000 rounds. At the peace table. As the defeated party in this war. De Bulai Ding, the representatives of the farmer country and the windmill country looked ugly. The representative of the Black Dragon Empire had a solemn expression on his face, with a strong confidence in his laughter and conversation. As the representative of this negotiation, Longbow presented his proposed peace agreement to the coalition representatives. As the governor of Guawa was furious when he saw the peace talks. Impossible, this is absolutely unacceptable. How could we acknowledge your sovereignty over the Strait of Malacca? What, do you still want to have a fight? Longbow's face was full of confidence. Upon hearing these words, Guawa and the 2 governors of Dabuli Peak and Windmill Kingdom suddenly lost their momentum. Malacca is an important gateway connecting the east and west, and once you grasp this point, you can grasp the future situation of the entire East Asia. Meanwhile, as a must-pass place, this place will bring endless wealth to the Black Dragon Empire every year. Although Longbow didn't know exactly what the emperor was thinking, he could tell at a glance that this move was the emperor's killing move. Perhaps it is precisely because of this that His Majesty the Emperor did not demand any other compensation conditions. Kanwa knew that he had really encountered his opponent this time. Before coming to negotiate, he was even prepared to be spoken up by the other lion. Even gold, silver, or jewelry can be promised. Anyway, as long as you give yourself time, you can extract it from these colonies. However, the other party, the founding ruler, indeed has a long-term vision. What I want is actually a port, what I want is a strait. From then on, every merchant ship passing through the Strait of Malacca must surrender a certain amount of wealth. More importantly, whether any warship passing through here in the future can pass depends on the eyes of the Black Dragon Empire. If that's the case, it will affect the future layout of major powers such as the Great Britain and Poland in East Asia. Damn it, we must defeat this damn Black Dragon Empire and kill this despicable forest sea. All the participating powers held such determination. But faced with the powerful combat power demonstrated by the Black Dragon Empire, these people fell into deep despair. No matter how angry it is, it cannot withstand the roar of the engine of the opponent's Mustang fighter plane flapping its wings on its own territory. Moreover, in this war, the coalition mobilized 300,000 troops, excluding nearly half of the casualties. In addition, as many as 100,000 soldiers were captured by the Black Dragon Empire. In order for these 100,000 prisoners to return, the coalition must also accept this condition. Chapter 7. Guarding Malacca and robbing merchant ships from island countries to earn foreign exchange. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After more than 10 days of consultation. When Kanwa saw thousands of Mustang fighters swarming over the Indo-Peninsula like bees in the Black Dragon Empire, he finally signed an unequal treaty. September 18, 1931. The island country launched an invasion of the Great Xia War. The Black Dragon Empire sent a message to the consulate of the island country, inquiring about the island country's invasion of the Xia. And issue a warning. Island countries are undermining peace in East Asia and seriously endangering the territorial sovereignty and integrity of Great Xia. As a member of East Asia, they express serious concern about this. At the same time, the first warship loaded with anti-aircraft guns and Mustang fighter jets sailed towards Mordo. The people of Dacia express great gratitude for this. Faced with the anger of the Black Dragon Empire, the island government stated that it was all a helpless move made to protect the Sakuraman Railway. The envoy of the Black Dragon Empire directly presented evidence. In the World Joint Communiqué, it was declared that the events took place as follows. At around 22:20 p.m., the military of the island country ordered a small team led by Kawamoto Morimoto, the captain of the Willow Lake detachment of the railway garrison, to patrol the railway. A small explosive was detonated on a railway section approximately 7.5 kilometers north of Fengtian, 800 meters away from the Northeastern Army's base in Beiding, destroying a small section of the railway. And killed 4 Northeastern soldiers to forge the explosion scene. This has attracted widespread attention from the international community. The island nation is panicked because what the Black Dragon Empire says is true. At the same time, the people of Dacia were even more aware of the wolf-like ambitions of the island country. I always thought it was really the Chinese who bombed the railway, but it turned out that these little devils were directing and acting with the aim of launching a war to invade the Great Xia. Citizens and fellow countrymen. Now the entire Northeast is being turned into a battlefield, and the troops in Northeast China have been defeated like a mountain. This is a time of national crisis, and we must fight against it all, comprehensively, so that the entire nation can have a future. The Black Dragon Empire exposed the conspiracies and tricks of the little devils, which is I will never die. Now that the whole country is weak, we demand that all warlords and citizens participate in the united front of the anti-Japanese war. Kill all the little devils and recapture the 3 eastern provinces. Soon, due to the comments and covert push of the Black Dragon Empire, the wise people of the entire summer stirred up a whirlwind of resistance. At the same time, the Strait of Malacca. A merchant ship flying the cherry blossom flag of an island country encountered robbers in the Strait of Malacca. Hurry up, little ones, kill them all, burn them all, snatch them all. Hee hee. Yes, boss. A mournful cry came from the merchant ship. When the pirates saw the steel, rubber, iron ore and other supplies on the ship, their expressions were solemn. Representative of island countries in Port Malacca. Protest, protest. Why do the pirates of Malacca specifically plunder our island's merchant ships? Let's forget about it once, now there are only 12 times a day, and all the merchant ships passing through the Strait of Malacca in our island country will be plundered. We seriously suspect that these pirates were played by the navy of your Black Dragon Empire, Your Highness Wu-Tang. At this moment, Bai Jiang, the commander of the Black Dragon Empire stationed in Malacca, stood up and said, speaking still requires thinking. If you say we did it, then we did it. After all, the Malacca Strait is so large, isn't it normal for some pirates to do it? Besides, if our Black Dragon Empire wants to steal your things, we need to cover up. Can't we grab you in a big way? You have repeatedly slandered our Black Dragon Empire, which is an insult to me and our Emperor, His Majesty Lin Hai. You insult our Emperor by insulting everyone in our Black Dragon Empire. Do you know the seriousness of this matter? You're using unreasonable language. You're insulting my intelligence. Cut. Bai Jiang sneered and said, what's wrong with insulting you? The Malacca Strait is the territory of our Black Dragon Empire, and we can do whatever we want. We don't want to be robbed, that's good. Don't go through Malacca. You. Wu-Tang was so angry that he couldn't even speak. He stood up angrily and said, okay, Black Dragon Empire. Our island nation has taken control of you. Wait, our island nation will repay today's grudge in the future. Cut, Big Island Country, go to your damn Big Island Country. Come and see off people. Damn it. Watching Wu-Tang leave in anger. The subordinates were worried and said, Chief Bai, after all, Wu-Tang is a representative of the island side. This humiliation of him. It's okay, he's just showing off in front of other countries. Do you dare to touch our Black Dragon Empire? Upon hearing these words, my subordinates all cheered up. That's right, if they dare to come, they'll be left with no bones left. At the same time, Lin Hai is receiving messages from all parties at the Military Intelligence Department. Your Majesty, as per your request. Once any island country's ships enter the Strait of Malacca and are confirmed to be carrying war supplies, they will all be plundered. We have now seized 1 million tons of iron ore, 500,000 tons of military-grade steel, 2 million tons of oil, 800,000 tons of rubber, and 100,000 tons of medical supplies from the island country. Very good, done very well. But now, the Xia is still defeated like a mountain in the northeast battlefield. These supplies are just afraid. Don't worry, use all these supplies to expand the military power of our Black Dragon Empire. Yes, Your Majesty. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluations, seeking monthly tickets. Chapter 8. Privately possessing permits and national mobilization. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Report, Your Majesty, the northeastern troops of the Xia have implemented a non-resistance policy, and the island country's Kanto troops have advanced to occupy the 3 eastern provinces. Waste. If you don't let go of a shot, you'll run away. A 300,000 strong army is vulnerable to a single blow, even the Northeast Marshal. Damn it. Your Majesty. Bai Jiang, Long Bo, and others have never seen Lin Hai so angry before. Before, when he liberated Wu Island, regained the 4 islands, and even faced the 300,000 allied forces of the 3 kingdoms for the first time, His Majesty was able to strategize and control the overall situation. But once the matter involves the Xia, Your Majesty is easily emotional. Your Majesty, nowadays the weapons and equipment of the Xia army are outdated, and the domestic warlords are divided, with no chance of winning. Even if the Chiang Kai-shek government wants to resist the war, it is determined that it is not a match for the island country. Lin Hai shook his head and said, Marshal Longbo, I know you are a local Chinese. It's normal not to understand the patriotism of the people of Daxia. Have you ever seen a revolutionary who, despite being able to escape, chose to die willingly in order to save Daxia and awaken the nation with his own passion? Have you ever seen a provincial governor who went alone to the east to protect his country, pretending to be crazy and foolish, and using the power of one province to power the country against restoration? You have seen sending the death flag with millions of comrades, led by warlords in one province, to fight to the death against enemy chieftains thousands of miles away in a foreign land for the sake of resistance. Have you ever seen a soldier aged 18 or 19 who, before going to the battlefield, had already set aside life and death? At this point, Lin Hai's eyes were already filled with tears. He gently turned around, preventing them from seeing the tears in the corners of his eyes. Remember, it is this group of magical and ordinary people who support the backbone of Daxia. This patriotic spirit of sacrificing one's life and forgetting one's death is the fundamental reason why this country has experienced disasters time and time again but can be reborn from the ashes. It is also the spirit required for the establishment of our Black Dragon Empire. Injecting the national soul that no one can destroy into the Black Dragon Empire is our pursuit. Daxia is our brotherly kingdom, helping them is helping ourselves, yes, Your Majesty. Several members of the Lin Hai cabinet were filled with tears. They finally understood why His Majesty the Emperor was so protective of Daxia. Why bother to offend the thriving island nation at all costs, and even be enemies with it? It seems that he has made some kind of determination, Lin Haidao. Send orders to increase the intensity of strikes on ships passing through the Strait of Malacca in island countries. Any discovery of island vessels or military supplies such as steel, ore, and oil will be subject to seizure. Your Majesty. At present, Farmar, Great Britain, and Windmill are mobilizing their troops, obviously unwilling to fail and preparing to launch a second war. Our troops are all focused on preventing the gathering of troops from these 3 countries, and the newly recruited soldiers are still being trained. I'm afraid they may not have enough manpower. If there are not enough manpower, release the prisoners from the prison, give them boats and firearms, and tell them that as long as they make contributions, they can have their sentences reduced or exempted. New recruits should also get used to naval warfare. Our Black Dragon Empire was established on the sea. The future will inevitably establish the most powerful navy in the world. Let them use war as a substitute for training first, to prepare for the future. Several ministers were immediately delighted upon hearing this suggestion. Your Majesty's thoughtful consideration really makes us feel ashamed. Bai Jiang said, Your Majesty, if you do this, you may directly provoke the island country. At that time, you will inevitably face retaliation from the island country. Before she could finish speaking, Lin Hai interrupted, war with the island country is inevitable. Do you think the island country's appetite is so small? Is that so? Several people's expressions changed greatly. That's right, the rapidly developing industry of the island country urgently needs a large number of overseas commodity dumping sites, and more importantly, a large amount of raw materials. After the setbacks in the summer, the island country will inevitably need to explore new colonies. At that time, underdeveloped Southeast Asia and South Asia will become the next targets for island countries. Everyone looked at the map and instantly understood. Your Majesty, the Emperor, is far-sighted. Please forgive us for our ignorance and not being able to see Your Majesty's vision. Bai Jiang knelt down directly and apologized for what he had just said. In my heart, I am even more convinced by Lin Hai's profound foresight. Get up, it's not surprising that you can't see these things. Remember, the world is going through ups and downs, and a war that will affect the world is about to come. No one can ignore it. Since we will eventually become enemies with the island country, we should not sit idly by from the beginning. Yes, Your Majesty. Thank you for the monthly ticket, flowers, and extra time for everyone. Seeking flowers, seeking monthly tickets, seeking evaluations. Chapter 9. Vigorously developing, millions of violent soldiers and the whole people's campaign. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Lin Hai looked at the map and pondered carefully. Shortly this year, the island country will take control of the entire northeast region. In 1937, the island countries will launch a full-scale invasion of summer. And it will attack Southeast Asia on June 22, 1941. There are still 6 years left until then. Time. For the Black Dragon Empire now, the most important thing is time. Send the order, ordering all graduates of modern schools to travel to the entire territory of the 4 islands and carry out comprehensive production work. Order the Ministry of Economic Affairs to coordinate all resources and fully allocate the funds looted from the enemy to the construction of the 5 islands. Establish schools, police stations, hospitals, factories, mines, military bases, conscription offices, power plants. Yes, Your Majesty. After the comprehensive restoration of the 4 islands, Lin Hai ordered the army to stay in place on the 4 islands and drew some clever soldiers from the army to join the police station to form a police force. Maintain public security on all islands, conduct population census, and issue resident documents. Implement an equal field system. Mineral factories and other precious resources are nationalized. At the same time, a large number of infrastructure personnel were dispatched from Wudao to the 4 islands to launch the already designated economic development plan. Start large-scale construction of schools, military factories, military bases, factories, and so on. At the same time, selecting a large number of personnel from the masses to start production, constructing water conservancy, large-scale infrastructure, and so on are not mentioned. Introduce the national defense law, adopt a compulsory military system, and require eligible youth to participate in military service. Implement free education. The universal free elderly care system. Vigorously build hospitals, nursing homes, and medical research centers. And hire medical experts with high salaries from abroad to teach. War-torn areas are exempt from taxation for 3 years. Implement a priority system for military dependents and vigorously provide them with convenience and social welfare. Design an agricultural technology department to teach farmers how to grow different economic crops based on local conditions. Provide agricultural subsidies. Establish a vocational college, offer 1 year of free admission and study, directly promote factory work, and enjoy national benefits. Vigorously building ports. Due to the lack of blueprints for advanced warships, Lin Hai had to first build a large-scale shipyard, while requiring the R&D department to fully develop and research warships. Form a new army. On the basis of the original 300,000-strong army, we will continue to expand our forces, with a 4-fold increase from the previous 50,000, and form a National Defense Army Corps with a force exceeding 1.2 million. The total strength of the Western Legion located on Suman Island reached 600,000. There are a total of 40 composite divisions and 2 special operations divisions under its jurisdiction, each with a force of 20,000 people. The remaining 10,000 people are responsible for logistics, communication, engineers, clerks, and so on. The number of combat brigades in each synthesis division has increased from 4 to 5. The strength of each synthesis division has increased from 12,500 to 13,500. Establish an independent Air Force unit and promote Captain Lin Hai, who fought bravely in the last battle, as the Air Force commander. Embark on the establishment of the Air Force. The military strength has expanded from 300 to 100,000, forming 10 Air Force combat brigades, each with a staffing of 10,000 personnel. Each combat aircraft is equipped with one main pilot and a co-pilot who also serves as a machine gun and bomber. 3 support personnel. Establish a maintenance department, a mechanic department, and so on. Among them, each squadron has 1,000 Mustang fighter jets. There are 10 Mustang fighter squadrons under its jurisdiction, with each squadron maintaining a combat capability configuration of 100 Mustang fighters. Expand naval forces, increase the number of landing craft, increase each fleet to 50, and at the same time increase the types of naval combat forces. Increase the number of frogman troops and special forces on land and sea. Establish the Navy Command and promote Shi Lang, who was brave in the last battle, as the Navy Commander. Embark on training the naval forces. The headquarters establishes a military affairs office, which is in charge of military affairs. Meanwhile, in order to gather information, secretly establish a general affairs office, responsible for monitoring all information and directly accountable to His Majesty the Emperor. The director of the Military Affairs Office is concurrently held by Long Bo. The director of the General Affairs Department was appointed by Lin Shui, an outstanding descendant of the Lin family promoted by Lin Hai, simultaneously serving as one's own secretary. The Chief Cabinet Secretary Lin Hai concurrently serves, seeking flowers, seeking evaluations, seeking monthly tickets. There are experts who like this book, and I hope they can strongly support it. Thank you. What level is Chapter 10? You want to talk to me about the Black Dragon Empire. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Your Majesty, the envoys from the 4 countries have sent a message requesting to meet with you. Lin Shui was wearing a black tailcoat, with her hair neatly tied behind her head. He walked in holding a pile of documents in his hand. Lin Hai, who was observing various production tasks, looked up. 4 countries' envoys. Yes, Ko Song, governor of Dabuli Summit in Indu, Kong Bo, governor of Farmar, Gao Wenla, governor of East India province of Windmill Country, and Binku Xiongxing, special envoy of the island country, have jointly sent a note, hoping to see you. See me. Lin Hai smiled and wiped a tang knife. I believe they came to me to inquire about the recent looting of merchant ships in the Strait of Malacca, right? From the submitted documents, it can be seen that recently, those prisoners released from prison have not only plundered the island country's ships with the help of warships and weapons issued by the Empire. Even the merchant ships of other 3 countries have been looted. I see. Lin Hai smiled and said, nowadays, the colonies of the Windmill Kingdom in East Asia have been completely taken over by the Black Dragon Empire. What remains is only a few small islands that have not been recovered. Gao Wenla, the so-called Governor-General of East India, is already in name only. Yes, but he brought the handwritten book of the King of Windmill. The King's handwritten script. Humph. The Windmill Kingdom has long been in decline. What qualifications do they have to speak to me? Even if they don't rank high, only the afterglow remains, and the Farmer Kingdom is nothing but gold and jade, among which they are exposed. The island country is thriving, but a small prime minister wants to see me. Don't you feel unequal in status? Lin Shui's expression changed. Yes, Your Majesty, I understand. Wait a minute. Lin Hai looked up at her and said, you are the bloodline of my Lin family. When outsiders are not around, there is no need to be so distant. Just call me brother. Now Your Majesty is honored as the 9-5 sovereigns, and Lin Shui dare not trespass. Seeing her like this, Lin Hai could only sigh and let her leave. At this moment, at the diplomatic negotiation table, the Baijiang delegation is full of words and scholars. Kongbo was furious and said, Minister Baijiang, when will we be able to see Your Majesty the Emperor of your country? Recently, our country's merchant ships have suffered heavy losses in the Strait of Malacca. As the manager of the Strait of Malacca, your country should bear full responsibility for this. Bai Jiang said, Governor Kongwa, that's not what you said. Although we managed Malacca correctly, who knows where those pirates who plundered merchant ships came from? Maybe it's your own people. Ko Songja's case arose and he said, it's impossible, Minister Bai Jiang. Our top-notch merchant ships have been specially renovated, with strong ships and sharp guns. Ordinary pirates are not even opponents, but these pirate ships actually have Type 88 anti-aircraft guns hidden on them, easily destroying our merchant ships. This is really excessive. Bai Jiang angrily pointed at him and said, what, are you carrying weapons on the merchant ships that enter and exit our country's territorial waters? Governor Ko Song, you must explain carefully whether you are engaged in illegal activities. Is it an intention to overthrow our Black Dragon Empire? It seems that in the future, all commercial ships that are not at the top will dock. We must all undergo rigorous inspection by our Black Dragon Empire. Ko Song widened his eyes, not realizing that his words had exposed his true identity. Suddenly speechless. Gao Wenle. Minister Bai Jiang, your Black Dragon Empire has invaded the territory of our Windmill Kingdom. When will it be returned? Cut. A defeated general, why not speak bravely? Bai Jiang is too lazy to pay attention to him. Bin Ko Xiongxing smiled calmly and said, Minister Bai Jiang, regarding the recent rampant looting of our island's merchant ships by your country's military and civilians, I think your country should provide a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, His Majesty Emperor Tianzhao of our island country will inevitably anger the emerging Black Dragon Empire. I don't think your country wants to bear the anger of our island empire either. Upon hearing Bin Ko Xiongxing's words, Bai Jiang's expression became solemn. Unlike several other countries, the power of the Oshima Empire is thriving. Even vaguely, it is one of the world's top powerful empires. Even if the current Black Dragon Empire wants to resist the Oshima Empire, there are still many shortcomings. At this moment, Lin Shui, dressed in vintage high heels, walked towards her. With a tall and beautiful figure, she quickly became a beautiful scenery in the conference room. Even these envoys gave up arguing and looked at her one after another. Bai Jiang stood up and walked up to Lin Shui, asking, what did your majesty say? Lin Shui coldly glanced at the people around her and said in a loud voice, Your Majesty the Emperor said, at what level do you dare to bargain with my Black Dragon Empire?